Hunt for the person behind these headlines. First, Canadian Governor General. Statesman born, Toronto, February 20th, 1887. Father is president of Farming Equipment Company. Massey Hall gets named. If you said Vincent Massey, you're right, and have joined Headline Hunters. And now, let's join the host of our show, Jim Perry.
Thank you very much, David, and good evening, and welcome to Headline Hunters, where we ask our players to identify well-known people, places, things, or events, and the faster they get the headline, the more points they score. I hope you're going to play along tonight with these Headline Hunters.
Hi, I'm Paul Countryman. I'm a teacher from Scarborough, Ontario.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Berkowitz. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm going to University of Toronto.
Hello, I'm William Pedo. I'm a teacher in Toronto. I'm married and have 4 children.
And Bill, Jonathan, Paul, nice to meet all of you, and you're all nice and articulate getting things started. Our congratulations, and make yourselves comfortable for just a moment while I tell our friends at home that the first one of these 3 nice gentlemen to say tonight's hidden headline word wins a fine bonus prize. And now, just for you at home, here is tonight's hidden headline word. It's blacked out here in the studio, and Paul, Jonathan, Bill, you know we're looking for well-known people, places, things, or events. Remember, fact or fiction. If you buzz an answer incorrectly, we'll subtract those points from your score, but we never take you below 0, so you can always make a comeback. Good luck to all 3 of you, and you all have your fingers ready there on the buzzer, and we'll start at 100 points, looking for the identity of a well-known thing. Here's your first headline of the night.
Evolved from child's game of rounders.
And Jonathan wants to try it for 100 points.
Tag.
That is incorrect. You're at 0. You remain at 0 out of the remainder of this set of headlines. For Paul and for Bill, the next headline is worth 50 points.
2 teams of 9 players.
And now it's Bill for 50.
Baseball.
Baseball, that's what came from Rounders, and you're on the scoreboard with 50 points, Bill. And now we're going to up the value to 200 points. Jonathan, of course, you're back in. All 3 players look this time for the identity of a well-known person. Keep that in mind as you listen to this headline.
Egyptian ruler, 69 to 30 BC.
100 points.
Son is Caesarion.
50 points.
Several Macedonian queens have the same name.
Fascinating headline, and Bill thinks he knows it for 50.
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra indeed is correct for 50 points, yes. Caesar's lover marries Mark Antony, and Bill is up to 100 points in the lead, and that can be wiped out right now as we go to 300 big points. We're looking this time for a place. Here's the headline.
Joins Confederation, March 1949.
And Paul beating Jonathan to the buzzer for 300 big points. Do you know that place?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland is right for 300 points, yes. I suspect when you hear that 1949, you know, that's not very long ago, surprisingly. Paul, 300 points in the lead. Jonathan, who's just been beaten to the buzzer there a little bit. William at 100. We complete the round at 400 points. We look this time for the identity of a well-known person. Here's the headline.
Sage-born, China, 551 BC.
And Jonathan is first with a buzzer this time. 400 big points give you the lead if you know it.
Confucius.
You do know it. You're right. For 400 points, it is Confucius. And as we end round 1, all 3 players, 3 good players on the scoreboard. We'll be back to them and more headline hunting after we take time out for this commercial break. And we're back with 3 very good headline hunters, and we'll be back to more headline hunting after I tell you that, of course, a little bit later we'll be bringing back our champions for a night of champions. Someone's going to win this beautiful prize.
The all-new 1981 Mazda GLC Sport. The more you look, the more you like, thanks to new front-wheel drive, increased interior and cargo room, and a brand new engine for even better gas mileage. Mazda GLC for 81.
Okay, here we go. Paul at 300 points, Jonathan at 400, Bill is at 100. We'll start a new round. Once again at 100 points. We are looking this time, gentlemen, for the identity of a well-known person. Dave has the headline.
Marries playwright Charles MacArthur, 1928.
For 50 points.
Actress portrays Coquette.
Now we know it's an actress. 40 points.
Greatest success as Queen Victoria.
Jonathan wants to try it for 40 points.
Betty Davis.
No, that is incorrect. You lose 40 points, down to 360. Out of the remainder of the headlines for Paul and Bill, the next one is worth 30 points.
New York Theater takes actress's name.
And one more headline for 20 points.
Helen is First Lady of American Theater.
Paul for 20.
Helen Hayes.
Helen Hayes, that's right, for 20 points. And Paul is up to 320 within 40 points of the lead. I thought you might get it on the first one. Mary's playwright James MacArthur. It's Helen Hayes MacArthur. And, of course, her son, named MacArthur, was on the hit television series Hawaii Five-0. So now, as all three players are back in, we up the value to 200 points. We look for a place. Dave has the headline.
Admitted to United States as 25th state.
Think about that one, a little harder than Newfoundland in 1949. 100 points.
Mississippi forms eastern border.
For 50 points.
Mountains include Ozark and Ouachita.
40 points.
Capital is Little Rock.
Jonathan for 40.
Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's right, up to 40 points and up to 400 goes Jonathan. Home of the University of Arkansas. Might have given it to me on the last one. And Jonathan's at 400. We now go to 300 points. We're looking this time for a person. Here's the headline.
Born West Branch, Iowa, 1874.
200 points.
Translates book on mining from Latin to English.
Fascinating headline about this person. 100 points.
Millionaire businessman seeks presidency.
50 points.
2 chickens in every pot, a car in every garage.
And that's a quote from this person. And Paul wants to try it for 50.
Alf Langdon.
No, that is incorrect. You lose 50 points. And Jonathan and Bill, one more headline for 40 points.
Hoover Dam gets named.
Jonathan for 40.
Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover, that's right, for 40 points, yes. Yes, he was a millionaire businessman who then sought the presidency of the United States, and he's famous for saying everyone should have 2 chickens in every pot and a car in every garage, which they probably now can't afford to put gas into. All three players are back in now. Paul at 270, Jonathan at 440 in the lead, Bill at 100. We'll complete the round at 400 points, looking for the identity of a well-known thing. Here's the headline.
Said to live for 500 to 600 years.
300 points.
Used as symbol of immortality.
200 points.
Classic symbol in Egyptian mythology.
100 points.
A bird of great beauty.
And Jonathan trying it for 100.
The dove.
No, that is incorrect. To break for your opponents as you lose 100 points down to 340. And one more headline for Paul and Bill worth 50 points.
Rises from own ashes.
And Paul for 50.
Phoenix.
The Phoenix, yes, that's what rises from its own ashes. The Phoenix said to live from 500 to 600 years, and of course it is Egyptian mythology. And now we end the round, and it got a lot closer. Paul, 270, Jonathan still in the lead, 340, and William at 100 points. We'll quickly get into a new round. And at 100 points, we're looking for a person, and here's the headline.
Model said to be Dr. Joseph Bell.
50 points.
First introduced in Study in Scarlet.
And Jonathan for 50.
Sherlock Holmes.
This time you're right. 50 points. You got it, Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock is tonight's hidden headline word. Jonathan, you said it first. You've won this bonus prize.
From Kinney Shoes, a gift certificate for your selection of high fashion or casual shoes for every member of the family. Locations coast to coast. You'll get a kick out of Kinney.
And that prize, of course, is yours to keep no matter how you finish at the game. Our congratulations. Some fascinating headlines about Sherlock Holmes. The model said to be Dr. Joseph Bell. Dr. Bell was a friend of the author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And another fascinating headline, the character Dr. Watson, of course, Elementary, My Dear Watson was going to be the last headline. Dr. Watson was based on the author, Dr. Conan Doyle himself. That I did not know. So now with Jonathan, a 20-point lead over Paul and Bill still very close, we'll get back to headline hunting. And this time for the headline hunting, we are going to invite your attention, gentlemen, if you will, to a little visual cue, a little visual clue over there. And as you look at that, for 200 points, we're looking for a thing. Here's your first headline.
Said to have plucked thorn from crown of Christ.
100 points.
Well-known North American thrush.
50 points.
Arrival indicates spring.
And Bill for 50.
North American robin.
It is indeed the robin. You're right for 50 points. And Bill is up to 150 points. And we were helping you a little bit with that thing, showing you that it was a bird. It is indeed a robin. If we take a look again at that slide of the robin, the surprising thing there is that the robin redbreast, which lays blue eggs incidentally, does not start off with a red breast. And that might have thrown you a little bit. That is a picture of a very young robin. So now with Paul at 370, Jonathan 390, Bill a little closer at 150, we're going to 300 points, looking for an event. An event. Keep that in mind as you listen to this headline.
Festival name means holy evening.
200 points.
Superstitions and symbols from Druids.
200 big points. Paul, if you're right, do you know that event?
Halloween.
Halloween is right for 200 points. And Paul moves into the lead with 570 points. Yes, the Irish started out telling about the jack-o'-lantern. That, of course, trick or treat. Now we go to 400 points, this time looking for the identity of a well-known person. And I'm happy to say that that person is here with us in the studio. So if you're playing along at home, we'll ask you to not only listen to the headlines, but to the sound of the voice, though it may be disturbed. And I might also add, here in the studio, our players cannot see the silhouette of our mystery guest, who you will see at home. At home, take a look at the silhouette. And players, for 400 points, a well-known person, listen to this headline.
I was a member of the first team to ever win the Nancy Green Little League Championship at the age of 10.
300 points.
In 1975, I was a North American Junior Downhill Champion at Whitefish, Montana.
200 points.
In 1977, I won the Canadian Slalom Championships at Mount St. Anne, Quebec.
Obviously, we know something about the expertise of our mystery guest. 100 points.
I also won the downhill race at Morzy in France after Ken Reid was disqualified for an illegal downhill suit.
And Jonathan wants to try for 100.
Dave Irwin.
No, that is incorrect. You lose 100 down to 290. Paul and Bill, you have one more headline for 50 points.
I won the bronze medal for the downhill skiing in the 1980 Winter Olympic Games at Lake Placid.
And
New York.
Paul for 50.
Steve Podborski.
Steve Podborski it is. You're right. Yes. And as Paul gets the points for Steve Podborski, ladies and gentlemen, we would like you to meet a man that we are all very, very proud of, Olympic medalist Steve Podborski. Hello there, Steve. Still limping. Yeah, good to have you here with us. Why don't you step up a little bit so we get you in a fine light there? You're very articulate back there with the headlines.
Thank you. Sometimes I get a little practice.
Would you ever like to do that when your skiing days are over? Would you like to do commentary on skiing?
Sure, I think I could introduce a little bit of expertise into the field, and I can blither on now and then.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I know when we were talking before we went on the air, you were saying you were very comfortable. I said, no problem. You just put the cards up there wherever you want. I'll read them. That's nice. That's very nice. Incidentally, we have some film that we're going to show of Steve in action, and I think what we're going to see is part of the downhill. Is it not? Can we put on the other monitor so that Steve can see what's going on as well? And maybe you can make some comment on it, Steve.
Sure, we'll see where it's from. That's from Lake Placid. That's just coming out of the start. You can see the flag there. Leonard Stock skied this part of the course extremely well. It's very rough, and the site is a lot worse than it looks at that point.
Ooh, it looks like you almost lost it there for a moment.
Yeah, it was a very difficult section. Here's where I think I had the most trouble. I had to ski very low, and there's the next gate right there. I have to hop right around. You just saw that. And then here at the bottom, it's quite flat. You can see the tracks from the other racers. Speeds are approximately 65 to 70 miles an hour. And
That's flying.
right here, I catch a couple edges and nearly wipe out.
Ooh, hello there. Slid apart.
But I pull it off and a few bumps into the finish line. I was really glad I was finished, I'll tell you. It was a long week.
You're looking at we look at the time, and that is sensation. We look at the time, and a minute and 45. It sounds like such a short period of time, but when you're out there going down those skis, that's a very long, hard period of time to be skiing.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the longest courses of the year, but it certainly was difficult. I'd say the build-up was longer than the race.
Did you know when you got down the bottom that you had an Olympic medal? Can you feel it?
No, I saw my time originally. I was kind of disappointed. I thought, geez, I'm a second out. What happened? But then they had the placing up there, and that was fairly clear that I was third, and I knew that there wasn't anybody who's going to beat me because I was 15th in the draw, and then I was kind of happy that it was.
I'm sure it's a great thrill for you, and you gave all of us across the country a great thrill. We are very, very proud of you and delighted to have you here with us, Steve. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a fine man, Mr. Steve Podborski. We'll be back with more headline hunting right after we take time out for this commercial break. And we're going to take a look at the scores. And right now it is Paul with 620 points in the lead. Jonathan has 290 points. Bill with 150 points. We'll be back to more headline hunting right after we take a brief look at the runner-up prizes.
And from Schaefer Gym, a classic Brazilian marble desk set. Luxury for your desk, complemented with Schaefer's white dot pens. A truly fine gift from Canada's proudest craftsman, Schaefer. Or a selection of the new Sophia by Coty, the first great classic perfume of the 80s. Like the women who inspired it, always magnificent, never the same. Sophia by Coty.
Hi, thank you, David. Paul 620, Jonathan 290, Bill at 150. Let's get back to business as we start a new round at 100 points. Gentlemen, we're looking for the identity of a well-known thing, starting with this headline.
Pericardium encases organ.
Jonathan, right away for 100.
The heart.
Nicely done for 100 points. Well done. Jonathan, I've got to ask you, with that, you are a student. What are you studying in school?
Statistics.
Oh, not medicine. Oh, it sounded like something that would be purely for medical knowledge only there. Pericardium encases organ. Fascinating headlines. It is, the next headline was, Pump feeds 100,000 miles of pipeline. We have 100,000 miles of blood vessels within our body, and it is, of course, a pump. And Jonathan up to 390 points by getting the heart. We go to 200. We look once again for a thing. Here's the headline.
German name means to hoard.
This is a thing, remember, 100 points.
Eats grain, vegetables, small animals, and birds.
50 points.
Builds complex underground tunnels.
Jonathan again for 50.
The beaver.
No, that is incorrect. He loses 50 points, down to 340 for Paul and for Bill. The next headline for 40 points.
Rodent crams food into large cheek pouches.
Paul for 40.
Squirrel?
No, that is incorrect. You lose 40 points. Bill is all alone for one more headline worth 30 points.
Most like domesticated ones love running in wheels.
And Bill doesn't want to take a chance. Oh, he wants to take a chance for 30 points. Do you know it?
A gerbil?
No, you were so close. A hamster. But you lose 30 points on that, down to 120. And it had to be the hamster because the German word, German name means to hoard. The first headline clearly pointed only to the hamster. So on that exchange, everyone lost some points. Paul's still in the lead, 580, Jonathan 340, and Bill at 120. Let's go for 300. We're looking for a thing. Here's the headline.
Bible says Jubal invents.
200 points.
Oldest of stringed musical instruments.
100 points.
Favorite instrument of old Irish poets.
Bill for 100 points.
The harp?
The harp is right for 100 points, and Bill is up to 220. Getting the score a lot closer. Angels play on high, the last one. We're going to 400 points now as we complete the round, looking for the identity of a well-known place. A place. Here's the first headline.
3/4 of 500 islands are uninhabited.
300 points.
Gulf Stream affects climate.
Bill, 300 big points. Do you know it?
The British Isles?
I must have more information.
The Kingdom of Great Britain, Ireland, the Orkneys, the Shetlands?
No, I'm afraid no. We have to rule you wrong on that, Bill. You are back down to 0. A tough break for Bill, but a good one for Paul and Jonathan, who are alone for 200 points.
Samuel Johnson's book arouses interest.
And Jonathan for 200.
Channel Islands.
That is incorrect. You lose 200 points. Paul is all alone for 100 points.
Tourists flock to Scottish Isles.
50 points.
The Isle of Skye is one of Western group.
And Paul now for 50.
The Orkneys?
No, that is incorrect. You lose 50 points. It is the Hebrides. We could have accepted the Western Isles, or we could have accepted the Hebrides. Those are the only two. The 3/4 of the 500 islands of the Hebrides, and the Gulf Stream, of course, does not affect England. It affects the Hebrides only. It clearly pointed only to the Hebrides. Incidentally, in honor of this being Headline Hunters, this entire round, everything began with the letter H, players. Of course, it didn't help you much right there. As we end the round, Paul, 530 points. He didn't lose too much. Jonathan with 140. Bill is back down to 0, and there's a signal that time is up with the deadline set of headlines remaining where we start at 500 points, and anyone could still win it. We'll find out who does right after we take time out for this. Time now for the deadline set of headlines, the final headlines of the night where we start at 500 big points. And looking at the score, Paul with a sizable lead, 530 points, but it is not an insurmountable lead. Jonathan with 140 points. He could, of course, beat him if he got it for 500 or 400 points. And Bill, I guess, is hoping for Paul to make a mistake here right now. 530, 140 to 0. And gentlemen, it's been a good game. Let's wrap it up with a nice deadline set, looking for the identity of a well-known place. A place. 500 points. And this headline.
fifth largest country in the world.
Jonathan right away is going to take a chance. 500 big points. If you're right, you are the champion. If not, you're down and out of it. Do you know it?
Brazil.
You do know it for 500 points. And Jonathan Berkowitz, you are the champion. Congratulations. And here's tonight's winning prizes.
Your prizes include the fabulous Go Anywhere Electro Home Traveler 3, includes CB, AM, and FM radio, tape recorder, and even a 3-inch TV. Plugs into your wall, car lighter, or you can run on batteries. The Traveler 3 from Electro Home. And Brothers Pace Setter Super Deluxe Convertible Sewing Machine with triple stretch stitch and 25 built-in automatic pattern cams, 4-phase button holder, and blind stitch. With the Brother, you'll never have it so good.
And again, our congratulations, Jonathan. A fine win. A couple of times there when you were behind, did you decide you were just going to take a chance, or did we happen to hit something that came right to mind for you?
On Brazil, it's one of those things I knew.
That's sensational because, of course, as we mentioned during the break to the players and often mentioned to you at home, the deadline set of headlines, we're very careful about making sure that there is some information in that deadline set and each of the headlines. And, of course, the fifth largest country was the big one in there for Jonathan. It gave him the championship. Now, Jonathan, we're going to see if we can pick up some cash there with some quickie headlines as we get into the rapid round, and we'll give you $10 for each one. And remember to have fun with them. Forget about the bell. Relax. And if you don't know one, do remember to pass. 60 seconds. Get ready and go.
Lone Ranger's horse.
Silver.
$10.
King Arthur's magician.
Merlin.
20.
Atlantic, or rather aquatic quacker.
Duck.
30.
Elmer Fudd's nemesis.
Porky Pig.
Okay, or Bugs Bunny. That's 40.
Red-nosed reindeer.
Rudolph.
50.
Home of Oz.
Pass.
That's the Emerald City.
Sea god.
Neptune.
60.
Houdini's profession.
He was an escape artist.
70.
Snow White's companions.
7 Dwarfs.
80.
Frozen water.
Ice.
90.
Delilah's lover.
Samson.
100.
Scary vampire.
Dracula.
110.
Superman's archenemy.
Lex Luthor.
Nicely done. 120.
Smelly animal.
Skunk.
130.
Insect feelers.
Antenna.
140.
Northern lights.
Aurora Borealis.
150.
Wonderland hero.
Alice.
160.
Rapunzel's feature.
Long hair.
170.
Astaire's ginger.
Ginger Rogers.
180.
Mork and
Mindy.
190.
Jester.
Court Jester.
Or clown, that's 200.
London's waxworks.
London Waxworks,
Madame Tussauds.
that's 110. We kind of stumbled on one. Let's give Jonathan one more.
Popeye's adversary.
Brutus.
That's
Pluto.
$220. Good job there with the rapid round, Jonathan. Again, our congratulations on a fine win. And, of course, you got the hidden headline word prize as well. Paul and William, we thank you for joining us. Paul, the first runner-up prize is yours. And, Bill, you have the second runner-up. We thank you all for a very well-played game. And we'd like to thank Steve Podborski for joining us. And, as always, thank you. Good night from Headline Hunters.
Ampex studio quality tape used by more professionals than all other tape once again now offer their famous buy two get one free on 2020 plus products. Ampex, the tape of the stars. While in Toronto, guests of Headline Hunters stay at Howard Johnson's Airport Hotel and Restaurant. Cars used on Headline Hunters provided by Tilden Rent-A-Car, featuring the new Chevrolet Citation and other fine cars. In Canada, it's Tilden.